Welcome to Telling Tales. Today we'll be reading some stories over at r/MaliciousCompliance. Our first story comes from the user Onion Soup for Your Soul and their trip to Cuba. So about 2 months ago, I went to Cuba with my mother. It was an all-inclusive trip, so everything was pretty much provided for by someone. Whenever I travel, I like to bring this cute 500ml glass water bottle with a rubber pink casing I got while I was in China. Normally, this bottle wouldn't be an issue, but there were a few odd times when security at the airport would check it out to make sure it was empty because it was clearly over the 100ml maximum, but they would all let us go without a hitch. When we were traveling to Cuba, the bottle was checked and given back to us on our way there, but on the way back is a completely different story. There were tons of people flying out of Varadero the same day as us. There was like 200 people waiting to check in and only 3 check-in counters. When we finally got checked in, it had been about 2 hours since we got there. We were tired from standing, so we wanted to get through the gates as fast as we could, so we took the shortest line in security. There were only 2 people working at each bag check area, and at ours was a lady looking at the screen displaying the x-ray and a guy in charge of checking suspicious bags. When we put our bags on the conveyor belt, the lady gestured towards her partner and pointed at the screen. The guy then proceeded to grab my stuff off the belt and asked us if it was our stuff, to which we replied yes. He carefully shuffled through the bag, but just went after the water bottle because that's what I assumed the lady pointed at on the screen. The following dialogue is to my best recollection. Him: is this your water bottle? Me: yes. Okay, I'm gonna need to confiscate this because it's against the rule to bring this on board. But it's empty. Yes, but it is over 100ml and that is against the rules. I was confused, but I did not want to make a scene and get kicked out. No, that's just for liquids. No, it's the size of a bottle, and it's glass. But we have a bottle that's also glass. This bottle indicates an 80ml bottle of hot sauce that we brought. That is under 100ml, so it is allowed. At this point, I wasn't sure if he didn't know the rules or something, because every time he answered, he sounded very unsure. Can I see where it states that I cannot bring an empty bottle over 100ml with me? He grabs a nearby plaque that labels prohibited items and points to a wine bottle. But that's not allowed because it's alcohol. No, it's because it's over 100ml glass bottle. His tone at this point indicated that his real intentions were that he wanted my water bottle because he's just grabbing arguments out of thin air. I'm just trying to test his nerves at this point. So if I had a 100ml glass bottle of alcohol, I could bring it with me? No, because it's alcohol. So is that referring to the plaque? Do you want to take the cover off the bottle before it's sent to be destroyed? Handing the bottle back over to me to remove the casing? Keep in mind, there was some more bantering back and forth, basically saying the same thing repeatedly. I was really pissed at this point, but I really liked this water bottle, and it was clear there was the only reason he was confiscating the bottle was because he or the lady wanted it. So I took the water bottle from his hands, but since the only problem he suggests is it has to be the size of glass, I can take everything else. So I stared straight into his eyes as I removed the lid of the bottle and handed the rest back to him. His face instantly became red with anger and he aggressively threw the rest into the disposal bin. I have no use for the cap or casing, but now he has no use for the bottle, and that's all that matters. Our second story comes from F-Bomb2F and how they complied with a road rager. So, I drive an 18-wheeler. Not only that, but I own my own truck and my own business. One day while coming into Laredo, Texas, I was in the turning lane for my exit and this car whips out in front of me. Not really having enough room to stop, I turned onto the shoulder, threw on the air horn, and stopped right beside the guy. He proceeds to get out of his car with his phone and starts taking pictures of my truck and plate. By this time, the light had turned green, so I give him a few short honks to basically tell him to get going. He then beats on my door, so I roll my window down. He starts screaming about his ears hurting and how I'm damaging his ability to hear. He then demands that I give him my boss's number and have my driver's license number so he can call it in and report me and have my job for this. He then proceeded to move his car to the shoulder and backs up so close to my bumper I couldn't get around him. I kinda smirked at him and told him he didn't want to speak to my boss because he's a short-tempered man and he wouldn't like what my boss would have to say about the issue, but he insisted that he speak to my boss. I also told him if he wanted to call me in, all he needed was a number on the side of my truck since it's assigned to me. I gave him my cell phone number and watched as he laughed while speaking each number as he dialed. I see his number pop up on my phone mounted to the windshield. He couldn't see it from his angle and tried to hold in my laughter. I let it ring for a minute and he's finally getting impatient. The whole time traffic is going around us. I finally picked up the phone and answered it. Redacted company. Transport, how can I help you? His face turns beet red. He proceeded to yell at me some more and tells me this isn't over because now he has my number. A week later, I get a phone call from a number I didn't have saved in my phone, and I'd forgotten about the incident but thought it might be a broker or a customer. I answered the phone and this lady chirps up. Turns out it was his mother and she wanted monetary compensation for her son's troubles. I asked if she even knew what happened, and she tells me some story about how his bumper was damaged by my truck and that he was scared to talk to me because me driving an 18-wheeler was intimidating to him. Being a smart owner, I have a camera in my truck, and I dump all my truck's footage onto my hard drive, so I asked her if she could receive videos over email. She said sure, but wasn't sure what I was going to send her. I spent a minute or two looking through the hard drive on my laptop and find a video of the incident and send it to her. While still on the phone, I can hear the audio playing as she watched it. Her tone changed in an instant and I heard her put the phone down and all hell broke loose in that house. There was Spanish screaming, things being thrown, and Lord knows what else going on. It reminded me of the movie A Christmas Story, when Ralphie's mom calls on that lady about a curse word she hears on the apocalypse on the phone. Yeah, it was kind of like that, but in Spanish. She then comes back to me and kindly asks for two things. One, she asked that I forget that she called and act as it never happened because she was so embarrassed to no end. And two, if I could delete her son's idiocy. I told her number one was fine, I could do that, but as far as number two, I would not delete the footage. The only way anyone other than me would see it is if it was needed for a court case. She bid me good day and hung up the phone. Too long, didn't read? Don't ask for an owner-operator's phone number. It could land you in serious trouble with your mother. That last post could have easily been on r/entitled parents. It's good to know that there are good parents in the world that are willing to punish their kids, no matter how old. That's going to be my last story of this video. Thank you everyone for tuning in. If you like this video, make sure to like it and subscribe. And let me know how I did. This is the first time I've ever done this type of video, and I would really appreciate some feedback. Alright everyone, I'll see you tomorrow for more telling tales from Reddit.